Pues hola, buenos días, buenas tardes a todos. Qué gusto estar aquí en el día 24 del elcolesigue. Estamos aquí, como vieron, de nuevo con Edelvives, la Fundación Edelvives, Google for Education. Yo soy Dominic, soy parte de nivel A. También tenemos los partners de Intel y Dell, y como vieron, la Fundación Edelvives. Así que ahorita estamos haciendo cosas poquito diferentes el día de hoy. Vamos a empezar rápidamente, ya como sin tanto introducción hoy, a la primera sesión. Voy a quitar mi pantalla. La primera sesión va a estar en inglés. Para los que están con nosotros, voy a invitar a Shani Williams conmigo. Hi,
Hey,
Sean.
how are you?
Good. How are you, Shani?
Good. A little crazy. It seems like these days it's either it's always busy, and then there are bursts where things are just nonstop. And
I totally feel that way, and you don't even know what day it is anymore. And
the only reason I knew what day it was yesterday was the trash truck came to pick it up, and I was like, "Oh, it's Wednesday."
Yes, ours comes on Thursday, so ours came this morning. But yeah, no, I totally get that, and I feel like I just keep waiting for it to be Friday because there's so much going on.
Yeah.
But we're so excited to have you back with us this morning, and you're gonna tell us what you're gonna talk about today, because quite honestly, I'm not exactly sure.
Well, hopefully it's not old, but something that's a Google product that I think teachers could really leverage right now is the Google Arts and Cultural Institute.
Yes, I love that.
So I don't have like a pre-made presentation and stuff. I was just thinking we'd go through and look at everything because there's a tremendous amount of stuff to explore in there.
Yeah, awesome.
And
I think just sharing how to find it and where to look for it, and then I can put that in the chat. But that's a perfect resource right now when we're all stuck at home, right? To get our students into.
I think there's a ton of stuff you could do in there and keep learning going and actually have some fun. And there's just so much to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, go ahead and share your screen. I can put that up for everybody.
Coming right now. All good?
On the chat saying that's good. Yes. Yep, I can see it. We see Bruce Lee.
Fantastic. So how to get here? It's just artsandculture.google.com. And type in the Chrome browser and you get in here. And this is one of my favorite Google products that just is really not enough people know about it, I think. This started out as basically Google was going into museums around the world and taking these really fantastic pictures of all the artwork in the museums. And then over the years, it just kept growing and growing and becoming more and more wonderful. So just to show an example of that, I just clicked on the magnifying glass. So Starry Night by Van Gogh is right here. And we can click in here and it's just amazing to see all the artwork. And they've started organizing it into like little stories so you can learn more about everything. I'm just scrolling down the page here. And you can go through and learn all about it. Let's go here. As I scroll in, or zoom in rather, on the painting itself, and this is what's amazing, is scroll bars right here, but it's kind of being difficult for me to navigate to right now. But anyways, as I scroll in on this part of the painting, you can see where it's actually cracked and you can see the canvas through the artwork itself, which is just amazing because we'd never be able to get that close to the actual work of art. To be able to see the brush strokes and the paint buildup and everything else. So it's pretty amazing if you have a favorite painting you wanted to check out. you can just come in and search for the artwork itself or maybe the artist. And there's all of this wonderful resources put together. One of the things that's great is, remember, when they first started doing this, it was kind of to go to famous museums. So you can do a virtual tour. This is the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam. And you can just do a virtual tour of the entire, sorry, my dog's having a little hard time right now. But let's go up to, say, the second floor. And again, this virtual tour lets you go through the museum. I've never been there, but let's see what's down this hallway. And we can just click through, and it's not quite the same as being there, but it's pretty fantastic. There's 17 collections featuring Van Gogh, and so you could go and, again, do a virtual tour of any of these collections, which is pretty amazing. And then they've created these topics around Van Gogh, and you can see this one. Van Gogh was an artist, and there's 268 items in this topic. And when I open that up, it's kind of great. I can favorite this so I can come back to it quickly later. I can copy the link. So this is really awesome. So if you were talking about Van Gogh with your students, you could share this link with them and they'd come here and they'd have all of these resources. Post it to Facebook or Twitter. Or something that just came out fairly recently is that when you click on the Share, you can share it directly to your classrooms if you're using Google Classroom. But all of these topics have a little blurb so you can read about the person or topic. Here's a slideshow. And then there's these stories that are involved. And then this is what I really love is we can see these 268 items are in here. And if you click on any of these items, it brings you into more detail about that item and why it's part of this collection. And again, this magnifying glass lets you get in super close to the artwork. And like you can see the paint build up and the way different colors are used and layered on top of each other here. And you'd never get that close to this piece of art in real life. So I think that's pretty amazing. Let me go back here. Actually, let me just do it this way. Let me go to home. They have these fun, this changes, I think it's daily, it's definitely weekly. And so whenever you come in and visit, there's going to be a new story, something to learn right here on top. This art projector is so amazing. I don't know if you've seen this, Dominique. What it lets you do is if you have the app on your phone, you can search for a famous piece of art and then open your camera app and see what it would look like if it was in your house, for instance.
Oh, that's really cool. I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, it's super fun. You just choose your artwork and then take a picture of your living room or your backyard or whatever, and it displays it in the photo the same scale it would be. So if it's a smaller painting, that's like a regular size, it would show up in your wall, on your wall basically, and you could see how it would look with everything else. This example here, this painting is probably what, like 2 meters by 2.5 meters, something like that. So you can see how big it is in this backyard space.
That's really cool.
It's really fun. And there's also some fun little hidden Easter eggs in the app, such as you can take a selfie and it will compare you to famous works of art and find the one that most closely resembles you. So like here, this example here, she took her selfie and Google found this art piece of art that most closely resembles her. So there's a lot of really fun stuff in the app. And then they also do a daily, in the app, it's a daily either selection of art to really drill down into, or sometimes what I like is they do it as a theme. So today's color is blue, and so they highlight all these blue images and artwork. So that's in the app. There's tons of stuff to do, but here on the website, let me scroll back up because there's more to this than just the art and museums. Up here on the left, you have a bunch of choices under that hamburger. So explore, it's kind of like I'm feeling lucky. See what's near you. It uses the address of your internet connection to find museums that are nearby. Collections are really pretty cool. These are pre-curated collections based on the museums around the world. So if you wanted to go in and see what's happening at the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston, you could do that. Or if you were interested in the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum, wherever, it would be so difficult to visit most of these places in real life, but you can do it virtually.
Shani, I
Yes.
was asking in the chat if there's any museums that people want to go to, and Luis Fernando said the Art Institute of Chicago. Do you see that one in there somewhere?
I bet I can find it. Luckily, it starts with an A, so thank you for that. I know that it's in here because I've seen it before, but
yeah, no, I was just asking for recommendations, and that's one that he said it's super recomendado.
Oh, it's amazing. It really is. I've been lucky enough to visit once in real life.
Okay. Oh, no, I think we're getting closer though. We see art.
There it is. The Art
Gallery.
Institute of Chicago.
Okay.
And so this is actually, thank you. This was a great recommendation. On this one, you can see this is, if you use Google Maps, this is Pegman shows up. So if we click on Pegman, what it's going to do is take us to this painting in a virtual setting, so we can see exactly if you were in the Art Institute of Chicago. There it is, and those are all the paintings that are displayed around it, and you can do your virtual tour here. It's pretty fantastic. And again, these are all the great ways you can share this. You can see everything that's in their collection, which is 570 items. It's pretty amazing. Do the virtual tour, find the location, what's happening right now. I mean, it's amazing how much information is packed in here. I went back to the hamburger to continue exploring this sidebar of information. And going into themes is the next one. And this is just, they pull rather than just a museum, there's all of these stories that you can read about. So this one I really like is the Nelson Mandela story. And so you can play the video. There's all this. If you're into history, there's a lot of primary source material in here. So a lot of our students these days might recognize the name Mandela, but not really know everything that happened, because I mean, this was back in 1990. But there's all of this stuff is pulled together in one place, which is amazing. Again, some primary source material, this artwork for change. And so if you wanted to learn more, or if you wanted to have your students learn more about this topic, you can share all this out. There's this primary source material as well as the information related to it.
Yeah, and Shani, I was just going to say, as a social studies teacher, I was constantly having to look for primary sources for my students. And I love this because this is also super motivational for them. Like they see this and it's real life, and it's just so much better.
Yeah, it's amazing. So this is handwritten letters that have been scanned in from Nelson Mandela. You can take a virtual tour of the prison. I mean, there's just so much packed in these themes that if you're a social studies history teacher, it's just amazing. There's so much to explore in here. And again, I mean, I love that it's 2 clicks and I could share this out to all my students in my classroom.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's so easy.
Going back here to that sidebar on the left, I don't know, have you checked out the experiments, Dominique?
I have not. It's been a while since I have explored arts and culture, so I'm excited to see what's new here.
So a warning, when you're streaming is not the best time to be doing this because these take a lot of bandwidth. But all of these experiments in here are pretty amazing. I'm looking for one in particular. Draw to art. So you doodle to try and they present you with a famous painting, image, whatever, and then you try and draw it, and it builds an AI. Is a fun one.
Is that kind of related to like auto draw or quick draw? Like, yes. Is it similar?
That's exactly what it is. It's building the auto draw AI base.
Okay, fun.
This one, the X degrees of separation, is phenomenal, but it does, like, if you have, it'll bring your laptop to a grinding halt. It does take a lot of bandwidth, but what it does is if you launch the experiment, you can pick any 2 objects in the arts and culture website, and then Google figures out how many degrees of separation connect the 2 of them. So it's pretty wild, because if you pick like a Chinese ceramic pot and like you know, a Van Gogh painting, for instance, it will launch and AI is like, okay, I can connect it this way, this way, this way, and you can say like, oh, it's only, you know, I don't know, 215 degrees of separation between the 2 of them.
Oh, that's crazy. I'm gonna go check this out when I'm not streaming. We have a question, Shani. We have a question in the chat.
Awesome.
Yeah, Maria is asking us if these projects, are they safe? Like, is there any security or privacy issues sharing this with our students?
So there shouldn't be, because you're not required to log in or anything for any of them. Yeah, so I don't think there'd be any problem. They don't collect any data. Yeah. So okay. Like that, yeah, this one I'm gonna have to come back to, because I haven't seen this one before. But it looks like strike a pose and create your own choreography with some machine learning. I'm gonna have to come back to this one later because I haven't seen it, but it looks really fun.
Yeah, and that's probably like great with all of us sitting so much these days.
Yeah.
Sorry, we have one more question, Shani.
Yeah.
Maria's also asking a lot of what? You were saying it needs a lot of bandwidth, right?
Oh, so it takes a lot of processing power from your computer to run these experiments.
Okay.
So so we're streaming right now, which also takes a lot of the memory that your computer has available to it and processing all your processors and everything. So if we did an experiment on top of that, unless you have a really, really, really super fast machine, it's going to really slow things down.
Okay. I'll go ahead and respond to her question in the chat too, because I think it was a vocab thing.
Yeah, and actually I used the wrong term.
Oh, okay.
That didn't help either.
Okay.
It's not so much bandwidth as processing speed for your computer. I'm going to leave that tab open though, because I want to go back to that experiment later and I don't want to forget about it. Continuing down this list on the left side is artists. And again, if you are studying art by, any of these famous artists, Frida Kahlo is always fun. And it's just they've grouped all this information about her life together in one place. And 99 items that you can go through and explore. And I mean, it's just amazing art movements that she is a part of and exploring different mediums. So that's kind of getting away from Frida Kahlo, but there's 51 stories. So there's so much to learn that they put together in one place and so easy to share.
Yeah, no, and sorry to interrupt again, but Frida Kahlo, she's one of my favorites, especially in Latin America, right? And if you and Jess ever have a chance to get to Mexico City, you need to go like in real life and see all of the museums there. It's unbelievable.
I would love to do that. Actually, when Jessica and I first started dating, and I was it was before we started dating when I was kind of stalking her. She posted a really cute picture of her next to a Frida Kahlo replica, and I just thought she was adorable.
Aww, she is adorable.
So sorry for anybody who's watching and doesn't know Jessica, but that was an aside.
She's awesome though, and she also does a lot of the same teaching that you do.
So again, this one, I had the opportunity to share this with a couple of art teachers, and they lost their mind, proverbially, because from that hamburger up here, we can look at different mediums. And so the use of metal as art or textiles as art, engraving, clay, I mean, just glass as an art form, and having all these resources pulled together into one place. So for instance, with these art teachers, like, oh, we're going to start teaching, the kids to start using charcoal drawings. And it pulls together this story, this discovery with 1,900 items, so the kids can go through. And again, this is an Edward Hopper self-portrait. And when you click on that magnifying glass, you can really, really get close and see. Whoops, let me do that again. Like you can see how bumpy the paper was that he was using, and I just think it's so amazing to be able to get that close. And again, as we were talking about, kind of a primary source material. So for people that are specifically into mediums, that's fantastic. There's also art movements. So if you're studying more historical art over time, going back, and this was one that I thought was amazing. I'm big on history and social studies too, Dominique. So going to historic events, and they put together, all of these amazing primary source material kind of stories. So a lot of kids aren't going to understand the significance of the Cuban Missile Crisis, for instance. So if you wanted to go in there, and again, there's 4 stories, 750 primary source objects that you can learn from and share with. I mean, I think it's just phenomenal. I wish these resources had been available when I was learning about history, because I just read words in a book.
Yeah, no kidding. Me too.
Historical figures is, it's very similar to historical events, but focusing more on a particular character. So Joseph Stalin, Vladimir Putin, Nelson Mandela. I mean, Alexander the Great. Why were these people such significant historical figures? And we can, let's see, Yasser Arafat. Why not? Again, you can discover more about them. Little primary source material here. Why is this picture important? Blah, blah, blah. I just think it's fantastic. And then the last one, and this is probably one of the things that got me really into it, is these are places. So instead of not necessarily artwork, but places that you might be interested in learning more about. Let's learn about Sweden. Why not? So again, you can read more about it. There's 17 collections in different museums. You can tour them all virtually, see what's happening in them currently. There's 7 stories, so learning slow food foundation for biodiversity. Huh. I bet that's pretty cool. And then discovering the place, and you can scroll through and click on any of these items, like that's MC Escher. Why it's in here, it's at the, where is it? It doesn't tell me exactly where, just the location is in Sweden. Oh, it's at the Strong Museum. So learn more about that. Just tons of places, resources based on location rather than art movement and stuff. This is also where you can come in just real quick, because there's one in here for the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. And I wonder if I could search for it, it'd be faster. So the UNESCO World Heritage is pretty amazing. So 40 stories in here. So you can learn all about the UN, I forget what it stands for right now, Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. They went through around the world and have designated these places as strategic for education and culture. And so it's just a great way to explore the world and learn about these really important, unique places around the world. So if people just go to arts and culture, there's tons of stuff to learn and explore and enjoy. But don't forget to go to this left side and continue to explore all these different opportunities and collections and ways to view art and culture from around the world.
Yeah, no, this is awesome. And I don't know about you, Shani, but it makes me wish I had more time in my day to just like visit all these places virtually.
Yes, you could easily block out 2 hours a day just to explore in here.
No kidding. I'm just wondering, nobody's asked this, but I'm curious, since I hadn't seen the part about sharing to Google Classroom. I know I'm putting you on the spot, but if you share it to Google Classroom, does it share it to the stream, or do you know how that works?
We can do it real quick.
Yeah, so, I was thinking just a demo would be cool.
Yeah. So when I click on share to classroom, it should pull up. Yeah, it does. All my different classes. So why not? Let's put it in that one. And then we can also choose whether it's going to be an assignment or I want to ask a question, make an announcement, or just use it as a material. So again, if you're an art teacher and you're exploring either a movement or shoot, I'm drawing a blank, the material that you're exploring, you could find that and then just create this as a resource material for your classroom for the kids to always come back and explore.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, I think right now, something that'd be really neat for teachers to be doing is if you find something that you think the kids would be interested in or that's related to something that you are kind of studying with distance learning or something, is just making an announcement and letting the kids go off and explore and hopefully come back with questions.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea and a great way to use that right now. And also to clarify, for people to use Google Arts and Culture, they need to have a Google account, right? Like you're signed into your Google account up there.
I am, but I don't know that you have to be. So
I don't know either. So sorry, I'm just wondering.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I'm checking it out in an incognito tab right now. So it's asking me to sign in. And if I sign in, that's how I'd be able to share it to Classroom or save my favorites.
Right.
And do everything. But you don't need to have an account to just go in there and explore and learn.
Okay. Because I know we often get that question because there's still people who might be watching who don't yet have Google accounts, but they're hoping, their school will get one or something.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Or also like parents if they want to check it out or something.
And I mean, even the thing is you can't share to Classroom without doing it.
Right.
But you could still come in. So I just clicked on the Share there and I can copy this link and put it in an email or whatever. And students can visit it without signing in and continue the learning. It just signing in makes it a little bit easier to do some of those things.
Yeah, for sure. No, this is great. I'm going to go ahead and invite Fede with us. He's back on the call too. Hey, Fede.
How are you doing? Hola, Dominique. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Did you get to see the presentation today, Fede?
No, I think that Google Arts and Culture, it's always like an amazing tool, the ways you can use it and like, I don't know, even the take a selfie and see who you look like. I like to do it with glasses and then I remove them and then it's a different picture.
I'm sure.
Or also we have like, with students, we've had times where we go, okay, let's make funny faces and let's see what comes up now, and trying to play with the artificial intelligence that does that.
Oh, that's fun, definitely.
Yeah, no, it's super fun. Thank you so much, Shani. I loved the demo, and I think it was great. I mean, we have people in the chat. Marta, who she's also been presenting with us, but she says this looks awesome.
Oh, fun.
We have Maria's commenting again. She was asking questions throughout, but she said, I'll say it in Spanish and I'll translate it for you. En mi escuela hay la materia de historia del arte y claro que la compartiré para volver loca a la maestra, as Shani says. So she says, at my school, we have art history. And so she said, I'm going to share this with that teacher and she's going to, go crazy, just like you said.
Yay.
And then Luis is also just saying, thank you so much for your time, Shani.
Great. Well, thank you for having me again. It was good seeing you again.
Yeah.
I have to run to something else. Yeah.
So. Thanks for making time for us and you're busy.
No, I always love seeing you all. So take care. Thanks for having me back.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
We look forward to having you again.
All right.
All right. We'll share your Twitter out. Someone's asking for your Twitter. It's at Shani.
Yeah, just that. Like it says on the screen, SEANI, but at SEANI. And please follow me. I'll follow you back. We can connect. That's one of the best things about all of this stuff.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Shani. Have a great day.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.